Alright, so we want to do a boat tour, and we've been wanting to do one ever since we got this new boat at the end of last year. We want to do it for a few different reasons. I think they're fun. It's fun to see different boats, things like that. And also, we get quite a few questions about our boat. You know, about the dimensions, features we like, dislike, things like that. And then another reason is, when we were looking for a new boat, we watched just countless videos of boats, boat tours, things like that. And so hopefully, if you're maybe looking at this particular boat, we can maybe help you out a little bit. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so there's quite a few things that we first started looking at a couple years ago when we knew we were going to be able to get a new boat. And kind of where we were coming from, so we had like a couple really old boats before this that we were totally fine with, and we were, you know, they were just really cheap, but they allowed us to fish, and that was the main thing. So as far as like features go and things like that, there was obviously a few things on our wish list, but it wasn't like we were looking to go from like a 10 rod locker to like a 15 or whatever, so we weren't like picky that way. What we ended up going with is the 1750 Crestliner Fish Hawk 2014, and it's been just an amazing boat. We really like it because it fit all of our needs. It offered protection from, you know, big water to small water, just multi-species, being able to go from Lake Powell going after bass, or Flaming Gorge going after, you know, Mackinac. So we were able to kind of get still everything we wanted, maybe just not the maximum amount of fishing room per se. So we went with the Midnight Blue. It's almost 18 feet long. It's got a 95-inch beam, so it's really wide. And even some of the other wider boats, this thing still outbeats those. 27-gallon fuel tank, so you definitely are able to get where you need to. You got a little bit of protection. We went with the complete windshield for a little bit more protection, and a few other packages that we'll talk about later. So what we can do is start with the motor. Alright, so my favorite thing about the new boat is our new motor. We got a 2014 Mercury 115 horsepower 4-stroke. So what you're looking for in a new boat, or any boat, is you want to get 80% of the maximum recommended horsepower. And as of right now, this is the maximum horsepower that Crestliner is putting on these boats. So we're very pleased with that. Very economical, very easy to use, and it starts every time. We don't have to kind of team up on it to get us started like our old Evan Rude on our old Crestliner. So yeah, it works well for us. We don't need to be, you know, flying at 50 miles an hour to the next spot, racing people or things like that. So it's very economical for us. We can still, even fully loaded, we can still get going in the high 30s no matter where we go. So we're very pleased with this, very happy with it. And one thing I wouldn't trade for the world is the power trim. It's something we've never had before, and it's something that I would never trade anything else for. So, alright, let's go to the front of the boat. Alright, so up in the bow of the boat is where I spend, you know, the most time. It's one of the most important parts of a boat, in my opinion. And the greatest thing about this boat, like we said, is kind of how wide it is. And with Crestliner, they've kept it wide all the way through the bow. You know, it really doesn't start coming in on you until like the first, you know, 3 or 4 feet of the boat. So even right here in front of the console, you've got a really wide space to fish. And I mean, I know people can get crowded sometimes, but we've comfortably fished up to 3 people in the bow, and with no problems. So that was one thing that was really a selling point, and something that we didn't really see until we were actually able to get into one of these boats, which is also another really good point when you're looking to get a new boat. Whether it's used or new or whatever, one of the most important things you can do is actually get into the boat. we were able to get into the exact same model before we got this one, and you know, that really kind of made the decision for us. Once we were able to get in it, kind of blew us away. We're like, okay, this is what we've been looking at for so long online. So the width is really stands out to me. You've just got storage everywhere in most new boats, and in this boat, you know, it's no different. Up here we've got just a huge compartment. As you can see, you know, we keep a lot of everything. We keep extra clothes, pads, rope, tools. We got our lights in there. Originally we got a seat pedestal. We've taken that out. We like to put a cooler up here, and even with the cooler we can still fish up to 3 people up here. This compartment is actually sealed, and so it's waterproof. We keep our rain gear and then some extra fishing stuff in there. A lot of people use that as a cooler as well. Up underneath, you've got plenty of storage room as well. We keep some pretty big bumpers up here with no issues at all. Kind of out of the way, but still pretty accessible. So there's a lot of room under there as well. Coming over here, you've got your bow live well. It's 12 gallons in this boat, aerated. It's got an overflow and everything that drains out up here. This is the main one we use. We use the rear one for storage, even though it's a little bit bigger. So yeah, that's kind of the bow. A few different things that we've done a little bit differently with it. I mean, that anyone can do with it. We put in a couple extra things just to hold some pliers, things like that. That doesn't come with the boat. I just put those in. You got your cup holders. This is really sturdy as well. You can stand on here and fish, no problem. So you've got your trolling motor plug right here, and that's already in there. Really easy and accessible. You've also got an extra trim tab up here. So if you're putting on the boat and you forgot to, you know, mess with the trim, your motor's still down, you can just reach around right there and push it up. Alright, so first thing we want to mention as we're getting down into the console is one of our favorite features, and that was the rod locker. Even in some of the used boats we were looking at that didn't have a rod locker, that was like the first thing that we were thinking of doing. We'd see one and we'd be like, okay, how can we put a rod locker in this? So this is one of our favorite features. You've got 10 rod lockers, or 10 slots for your rods in here. We've got quite a few more right now. But they're all pretty much easily accessible, really great, out of the way. Few better inventions on a boat than a rod locker. Going down inside, we've got our charger. Down in here is an extra spot where our actual trolling motor batteries go, and just a little, you know, 2x2 other spot to hold just some random things for more storage. Just really great, really accessible. Just an amazing piece of the boat. We really love it. Coming over just to the whole console area, you've got the tilt steering. You've got all your gauges just right here in front of you. You've got all your controls, things like that, just very easy to reach. You've got a 12-volt cigarette plug. We've charged, you know, everything in there. You got a cubby. You've just got ample amounts of mounting space up here on the console. I guess we would have what's considered more of like, you know, a smaller unit. And so you can see, like, you know, you can fit a much bigger unit in here. You know, for us, this is definitely adequate. But you could definitely put something a lot more. You've got the high windshield, like we've talked about, and obviously, you know, a full windshield. Coming over to this side, you've got your glove box, which is, I mean, it's just huge. We keep, what don't we keep in there? There's just so much room in there. Very deep, very accessible again. You've got multiple storage spots underneath both consoles. Keep stuff dry under there as well. Yeah, it's just, everything's very simple, very easy to get to. Lots of storage, which is really important. Just keeps everything out of the way. As you've already seen, we've got a lot of stuff on the boat right now, and like, you can hardly tell. So yeah, just a wonderful console, very well made. All right, so kind of continuing with fishing storage and rod storage. I actually put a couple extra rod storage spots over in this side, just for our trolling rods. This compartment is, it's originally made for, an extra rod storage. This compartment goes all the way up. It's like 8.5 feet long. But we use this for, all of our tackle storage, because it locks. This compartment and the rod locker locks. So we like to keep both those things locked, obviously, as much as we can. But just tons of storage for all of our different baits and things like that in here. So we're very pleased with that as well. And again, just out of the way, very easy to get to. I like that it's wide and on the side, because we can have multiple people getting into it at the same time. So continuing on to the back of the boat. So just like the front of the boat is huge and expansive, and you can fit 3 people on it fishing, it's the same way with the back. So let's start with the bench seat. And this was another feature that we weren't necessarily looking for, but once we saw it, we knew that that's something that we wanted. So this actually just converts into an entire bench seat, and you've got, a couple really nice seats that pop up. If you're going on an extra long run somewhere to a different spot or things like that, just pull it up. You saw how quick it was. Just pull it back down. We keep our bimini under here, just out of the way. Put it down. You've got, just as big a casting deck in the rear of the boat as you do in the front. So coming in the back, you've got your 15-gallon live well. We just keep all of our life jackets in there in case they get wet. There's a drain in the bottom, you can just drain it out. Coming over on this side, you've got your battery storage. We keep a lot of our cleaning stuff and things like that in there, but that's where your cranking battery and things like that go. We've got just an extra little cubby right here. We keep our trolling rod holders in there. One of the great things about the new Crestliner model, it's called the Sure Mount rail system. And you can see this rail just goes along the whole length of the boat. We've got a couple of these in front for a couple of the rod holders. And just with a little Allen wrench, you can, in 5 seconds, you can put this wherever you'd want. So you don't have to drill any holes or anything like that. Really awesome feature. In here, every boat's got to have a snack box. My son immediately knows where this is. Fortunately, it's empty right now. Put all our snacks in there. You've got your off-center seat pedestal to accommodate the extra wide live well. Back here, you've got your access. So here you got your rear access. You got access to all your pumps, things like that. I've actually added a raw washdown system, which has been nice. So you got all your pumps, things like that. Just really easy to access, change, things like that if you need to. One thing I really like about Crestliner that I've noticed is different in a lot of boats is the splash well in the Crestliner is really small, and it's very creative, and you don't see it a lot. Splash well, I think, is a huge waste of space in a lot of other boats, and in this boat, there's nothing. So you get that much more extra square footage in this boat by having that small of a splash well, and it really makes a difference, especially in this size of a boat. So we've been really happy so far with our Crestliner Fish Hawk. It's been really good to us. It's taken us a lot of places already, and it's going to take us a lot more. And there's quite a few other features that we really like on this boat. We really like kind of the wide rails, wide lip that goes, along the whole length of the boat. It's really wide. You can get an extra step, durability, and things like that. The vinyl flooring is awesome. If you're going to be going to Lake Powell a lot, if you're going to be boat camping, if you're going to be, you know, fishing late into the season, things like that, where your boat's going to get more dirty, you're going to want to have the vinyl. It's just so much easier to clean out, spray out, and maintain. We were lucky enough to get some really good seats with our package. Really fortunate about that, just very comfortable. The all welded construction was for me kind of like the icing on the cake and the ultimate selling point. There's a lot of other features and a lot of other boats that offered quite a few really amazing things. But for me, just kind of the peace of mind knowing that I don't have to worry about any rivets coming loose, things like that. I know there's a lot of other good boats, you know, that are riveted and things like that are wonderful. But just for me, it was nice to not have to worry about that. Really easy to maintain, really easy to clean. Get the water spots off, just wipe it down every time. It's a really good looking boat. It's very clean, classy look. We like it. Very easy to pull, very lightweight. And even that being said, it's a pretty smooth ride for being an aluminum boat. I know that aluminum boats kind of catch some flack on that end, but it's, you know, we couldn't be happier with the ride. There's just a lot of things that we're very happy with. So thanks for watching our boat tour. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, ideas, things like that about this boat, or about things that you've done on your boat, just let us know. And if you haven't already, go check out our YouTube channel. Go check out our fishing videos. So thanks.